leave those two over there because we might lose Factor Cheval behind the crowd. So let's look at number 5, and that is Charon, who arrives here after a rare below par effort in the Jean Prat.
Prior to that, he'd seen the backside of Paddington a couple of times and just hadn't been good enough really, but he'd run really well at both Ascot and in Ireland in the Irish Guineas earlier on in the season. Cool customer, isn't he, in the paddock? He's nice and relaxed. He looks really well. He's a good horse. I think he'll handle the conditions and run well, but as I say, I think we know his vulnerability at this level already.
His best performance in the St James's Palace Stake went 3rd to Paddington, and that was a very strongly run affair. Here is Paddington immediately behind, unbeaten this season. He beat Emily Upjohn. Oh, he's crowded around, so I don't know how much you're going to be able to see of him. We know that he handles some testing ground. We know that he stays thoroughly. He might have to make his own running here today. Yeah, that's something a little bit different. I don't necessarily see it being a problem as such, but they prefer something to aim at. I'm sure you can see when he gets into the lead. Actually, he can sort of put his head up, and I thought he did it last time a little bit at Sandown. Always doing enough. Little bit at Royal Ascot as well. Yeah, I thought more pronounced in the Eclipse. Yeah, which
they probably ideally would get something to aim at. Maybe Ryan won't send him on, I don't know, but there isn't an obvious pace angle, is there? But look, he's a class horse, he's a really progressive horse, he's got the best form in the race and he's proven on the ground, so he deserves to be a very short price.
Let's have a look at the French Raider, shall we? This is Factor Cheval for Jérôme Renier, and this horse has run well and his first try at Group 1 level last time.
Yeah, not dissimilar really to Aldari in that I think his form is a notch below certainly Paddington, but he handles soft ground well, he arrives in form, and if he's going to have a shot at running really well and being competitive in Group 1 company, I suspect it will be under these sorts of conditions. Lack of pace might be a bit of a worry for him because he can take a strong grip.
Agreed, and they're going to ride him patiently. And the horse behind is Inspiral, the filly. Now, I think you and I have similar concerns about Inspiral.
Yeah. Well, just for a while, she's sort of been suggesting that her head is in a different place at times, and I think on each of her last 2 starts, the QE2 last year, she walked out, didn't she? She nearly didn't go out of the stalls, and I thought she did something not dissimilar this year at Royal Ascot. To be honest, she was certainly very slow into her stride without it being as marked as it was on Champions Day last year. So I think it is a concern. Equally, maybe it will help her that there's no pace on, and if she does come out slow, maybe she'll catch up, but I just think there's something there.
I tend to agree with that, Martin, and also, I mean, you can look back further and have a look at the Coronation Stakes, in which she was ultimately so impressive, and actually she had to be ridden along as she exited the stalls. So this is a trait that she had, and you look at her mum, Starscope, and how difficult she became. There's a half-brother as well, he became quite difficult.
The whole family, to be honest, are quirky. Like, the dam was second in a Guineas, but she only won 1 race, despite having all of that talent. So the family it's ingrained in them, definitely. And she's shown signs. She's more talented than any of them on her day. I don't necessarily think she's quite as good now as she was sort of at her absolute peak. Some of those brilliant performances that we saw from her early on, I'm not sure she's still quite at that level, but we'll see.
And Ryan Moore will be aware of her traits at the start as well, won't he?
Absolutely.
When he's on board Paddington.
He will.
Yeah, okay. That'll be interesting, fascinating Sussex Stakes.